Officially, good afternoon. Welcome to Market Watch Group Weekly Market Wrap. I'm Scott, your broken down host. As always, keep in mind, education and illustrative purposes only. Nothing we do or say should be considered or construed as a recommendation to buy or sell any financial security or product. Decisions should be made at your own risk. We're not brokers. We're not advisors. What are we going to do today? Let's talk about the market. How the market responded to a lackluster jobs report. Let's just look at our posture to see if there's anything there that needs to flag us for what we're going to do for trades over the weekend. Are we going to carry trades over the weekend? What to look for next week? We'll take a quick peek at the opportunity list, and then we'll wrap up section 1 of the trading plan. That sounds like a reasonable agenda to me. So let's get into it. If you missed it, there's the alert. It fired off around 62.50. I think it's actually moved up a little bit since it came out, but still valid, obviously. I think it's pretty evident what we're looking for here. Now, I said I wasn't sure what I was going to look for this move, but I took these two as two separates. I went a little bigger. I think I went more with this one than this one. But as we get to that 67.50 mark, I'm going to be aware of prior moves. But yeah, look, it's if there is weakness coming in, then consumer staples are likely to see a little bit of flow. This is a nice, strong uptrender, higher highs, higher lows. Stochastics was in a good place. We had a nice hammer turn into this, convincing us that the buyers are in place. So I actually did go a little below. I think you could go a little bit into this, but I went a little below 60.90 for the stop. Still ended up with about a 3.6 to 1 with this target up here. Let me know if you have any questions about this one. I thought everything on this looks like what we tend to look for. So let me know your thoughts. And let's just jump right into the one that's not looking as good. Citi. So we regained some ground. It was looking quite nasty for a minute there. But it's recovered about half of what its worst was. I'm not going to stop myself out that early. Even if we were kind of looking in this range. By end of day, it's where it needs to be for at least a hiccup style perspective. I'm carrying it through. Let me know your thoughts on that. Apple, I've taken a little bit of profit, but I'm actually still going to carry a piece of Apple going into next week. Archer Daniels is brand new. Amazon. So that Amazon, I felt like came out of nowhere. And you can see we have kind of an inside day now. Let's look at APH. APH. This is one that really is struggling. My recommendation would be at least pair down if you're going to try to carry it. I mean, it made a valiant effort, and then today it's sort of stumbling a little bit. I think you could pair down. Let me see. Take a small loss on a piece and see if the rest of it can recover. You may decide to close the whole thing. Certainly it's tried. It's like it tried to move and then it hiccuped and tried again. And it's just, as it gets to the tail end of this, I'm more and more reticent to continue to hold. Let me know if you're in it and what your thoughts are if you're carrying that position. AXP. So AXP was one that I was like, ooh, this could be developing. I still think, based on the stochastics, like, let's see if this gives us the handle for the cup and handle. This is kind of that cup situation. Now the question is, do we get something like this? That's what I would be looking for, is something along these lines where maybe even a little bit more than that. No, that's about the same. That's about the same. Something like that. On the pullback, though. I'm not going to force it. Not going to rush it. Going to let it do its thing. I kind of jumped right in without looking at what else we were going to talk about. Let's hit some of this stuff here. So weird. I get like the weirdest Yahoo Finance stalls. Jobs slowdown seals Fed cut as White House blasts Powell. Oh, wait, what just happened? Hey, Stephen, good to see you. Whether it's a dovish cut or a hawkish cut. I mean, if we're looking to counter job weakness, I think hawkish. And I think press may be right that they may make it a 0.5. How many do I see for the rest of the year? I would think 0.25 and then another 0.25. I would think that the half is what they're going to look at. There's just, I mean, you know, the administration is committed to tariffs, which they're like, oh, tariffs don't raise inflation. I mean, if you pull them on, put them on, take them off, put them on, take them off, put them on, take them off. Certainly there's a lag, but we're seeing them push inflation. We're hearing from retailers that it's only going to get worse. So if the administration is hoping that the Fed cuts rates and that counters the inflationary impacts of tariffs, I think we're in for a bit of a nasty come to Jesus in the market here not too long down the road. But I would agree at this point. It seems like when do I think? I think it could be in October, which can sometimes be a nasty month. No, I wouldn't even necessarily think that long. I think it could come even sooner than that. I guess we'll see. What else? Tesla offers unprecedented $1 trillion pay package to Musk. How is that possible? Those guys aren't really selling that many cars anymore, are they? I don't know. Stocks reverse course. So, yeah, I mean, you know, at the end of the day, it's holding up based on the fact that the market's expecting cuts now. Tesla proposes package that makes him the first trillionaire. Well, there you go. Congratulations, Elon. Treasury Secretary Bessent calls for entire review of Fed. I gotta say again, you know, a lot of short memories to when everyone said, "There's no way we'll have a soft landing. No way," and we did, and it was a result of the Fed. So I don't know. Was there any talk about the jobs report now that they came out with the new person involved? They fired the Department of Labor Statistics person and hired a new one, and we got another weak jobs report. I don't know. Goolsbee is undecided on the September rate cut. I believe Goolsbee is the man to step in after Powell. I mean, I'm not consulted on that, but that's my belief. Press says the Fed is in a huge pickle. Jobs are weakening. Inflation picking up. Tariffs may be neutral to price increases due to a consumer already pushed to the limit. I don't know. I feel like a lot of them are starting to turn to this strategy where they are pretty transparent with their pricing, where they're like, this is the price plus shipping plus tariffs. Here's the total, right? Like it's now a lot of them are doing this component transparency pricing, which the administration doesn't seem to like. They don't like that, to kind of be like, oh, well, it would be this, but if it weren't for the tariffs. Fed has to choose which part of their mandate they want to prioritize. I agree. I think they'll cut a little bit to try to ease a little bit of the pressure for the jobs. But if we're thinking they're going to cut it back to zero, or, I mean, I don't know. That's just untenable. That in and of itself is going to additionally contribute to inflation. So, yeah, it's a tough spot. I agree. What else? So the VIX was up marginally. Let's kind of go through. Let's look at the economic calendar for next week. So we're already in. So the Wednesday is, no, it's not next week. It's the week after. Fed Day is the next week. Next week we get some additional inflationary data. But I am of the opinion that what the Fed is going to do will be determined before we get to this. I don't think anyone's waiting to be like, well, what does the PPI come in at? The PPI, which is, let's see, previous was 0.9. They're forecasting 0.3. We're not getting the rest of those. Consumer price index was at 0.2. We're expecting it to jump to 0.3. Year over year, 2.7 jumping to 2.9. Core CPI staying unchanged at 0.3 and 3.1. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting thing to watch, especially if that information comes back worse than expected. And then the week after that is when we get the Fed. Right? That's when the Fed's going to come into play. And we're at 99.4% for September. Oh, there we go. Now it's 90% for a quarter point, or I guess we could say 100%. With 10% of that going to a half a point cut in September. October, they're expecting there to be at least a half by then, with some thinking maybe even 3/4. And December is 3/4 with some thinking a full percent. I'm leaning towards a half. I'm over here. A half, maybe 3/4. I guess we'll see what happens. Okay. Let's go look at the market itself for just a minute. So we flirted higher in the day. We gapped up, and again, what were we gapping up on? Well, bad is good, essentially, right? Bad is good is what they were testing. Meaning, hey, because the jobs came back weak, we now think there's a guarantee we're going to get that rate cut. In the market gapped up for about 15 minutes, and then everyone's like, but wait, that's not good. And they're like, oh, yeah. And it sold off pretty hard. We've recovered a piece of it, but certainly starting to sense some stress overall. Now, again, from a market posture standpoint, this is the market we're evaluating right here. On Monday, we gapped down, but since then, we've done nothing but climb back up. And overall, we're still holding on to this trend right here. If you remember last week, we actually dropped it to a 1.25. I feel like that's probably okay here. I don't think anything has changed in that regard. So I'm still going to score that out as a 1.25. If you look at the long term. Nothing has changed. Everything looks fine. That's going to stay the same. If we look at volume, here's where we're going to see our first ooh, I think that's going to bite us and take us down a peg. Let me move this so it's more viewable. There we go. Well, I think we actually got a buy day. Let's take a look at this one. I might have been a little bit premature and didn't go back in. Let me see. Get my calculator out. Average volume on this day is 70.8. 70,820,898. We're going to be specific. That's the average on this day minus the average of 64,778. 490. 6 million divided back into 64 definitely is going to be enough. 64,778. 490. 9%. 9% on this day. And how far did we go up? We went from 640. Oh, maybe it wasn't enough. 640.49 to 644.21. It's going to be right on the bubble. 644.21 minus 640.49. 3.72 divided back into 644, 643.74. 643.74, 77, that's fine. Okay. I'm gonna give it to him. The buyers did enough. Did anyone else score this yet and give it to the buyers? Steven, and you? Now, yesterday, not enough. We had 64.8, we got 65.2, nothing there. Today, we are going to have above average volume. But are we going to score it? Not unless it drops another basically 0.25%. Right now, it's a lot of that volume was the gap and all of this trading above yesterday's high. Some of it was way down here, but it didn't last long, and then we are right now below the high. But is that enough to be like, look at the sellers, they're so strong? I guess we'll see. This is what's going to be dependent right there. If that says minus 0.5 or more, then yes, we're going to give it another sell. As of right now, I have 2 sell days, 2 buy days, 1 tie day, which actually is going to put it back to a 0.25. It's going to raise it back to a 0.25. Give me your thoughts about that. No, it's not. It's exactly where it was. It was already a 0.25. Sorry. I'm like, oh, it's going to be better. Let's put this in. 6, 7. Let's see. 9, 7. So I think that all 3 of these are going to stay the same. Major market. Sector rotation probably going to stay the same. Let's go look at the VIX. Give me your thoughts, everyone, on if your posture should stay the same based on what we see today. I don't see a reason that it needs to change. Let's go to the VIX. Now, is the VIX potentially setting up for something a bit scary? Yes. You might think, what, Scott? What is scary? We did take out this high. That alone is enough to be like, okay, let's give it not a plus, a minus 0.25. And as it got to this new high and started to pull back, if it stays here and then turns, what's our concern? Escalation. Okay. If we get a higher low next week, I will hedge. I will hedge what I'm in, and I would likely take speculative if I don't have much bullish left. That's the thought process for me. Give me your take. I will be carrying some bullishness into next week. If I see something like this develop, then I'll definitely be looking for that. Steven says, looking to push major market to a 1. Woo! I don't think I'm going to get anything anywhere near a 1. I would need to see quite a bit of strength over multiple periods of time from the NASDAQ or from the Russell. And I just don't think there's enough yet, but that's my take until tomorrow, or at least until Sunday. But this is actually enough for me to drop this. So if we do get something from the sector rotation, I think we would lose it here. I'm going to say that my projection is somewhere between 5.25 and 5.5. I think at best we stay the same. We're likely to lose a 1/4 of a point. Where's that 1/4 of a point likely to come from? It's going to come from in here. Right? That's where I'm looking to see it. If there were something positive, I would say it's likely to come from here. So green here, I'm going to actually make this red. Reddish. So those are the 2 places that could impact it. Okay. Thoughts? Steven says, I agree with my overall projection, but he just gets there in a slightly different sequence, which is perfectly fine. That's how this thing is built to work, right? Because we're analyzing multiple perspectives over multiple time frames, and there it is. Now, are we like, oh man, the jobs report, the sky is falling, we should get bearish? No, we're not seeing that. We're not feeling that. We are feeling that there is something developing. We're watching it closely. We're ready to make an adjustment if we need to. But overall, I'm still carrying bullish trades. I'm still thinking about bullish trades. I still put a new bullish trade on even as of today. Okay. Let's get to the watch list. Archer Daniels, ooh, it's starting to make a little move here late in the day. I think I got the alert out right around in this area here. We got a little bump. Nice to see a good start to that trade. Let me know if you took it or not. Very curious. Yes, good. Took 6 in. Good stuff. Yeah, it's nice to catch a little piece right at the end of the day. Okay, let's keep going. I had a feeling that was going to be right up a few of our alleys there. Yeah? Amazon, no. Let's get out of this chart. APH, I already mentioned. If nothing else, I would pare down, take some loss, and make it easier to carry to see if there's any more recovery left in this thing. AXP, nothing there for me yet. Maybe close. BAC. This one didn't turn as much, so I'd say this is still kind of in a position to strike. I'm not going to abandon hope of financials just yet, by any means. BTI, maybe getting ready to make a bounce off near the 50. City. Yeah, it's definitely kind of taking a pause. I'm going to carry through. I think it's still valid, still good, still has the ability to make its move, but it's going to have to start to pick up, right? And then start getting forward. Caterpillar. I think Caterpillar is actually viable. That's one that I looked at for today. Wasn't quite as good yesterday. It's getting confirmation today. What I didn't like was this. 1, 2, 3, and to the 4. It's a lot of resistance there. It doesn't give you a whole lot of space. Above, only about 11 points. So if I felt a little stronger about the ability to break out, but that recency and frequency right there that's getting me a little bit. CCJ, a little bit overextended. Well, I guess not really overextended. You can see the stochastics is oversold, but I don't know. If this is what you're looking for, this thing is really struggling to find a way forward. I guess if it gave me something like this, then I might have something to discuss. CELH, still in setup mode. You might be thinking, oh, but what about this big selling candle today? I'm okay with that. I'm okay if this is the low, I'm okay with that. If we got all the way back to here, I'd think, oh, okay. That actually looks and feels a little bit more sustainable. What do I not see? If there was something on this chart that would make me be like, you know what, I think I'm done watching this, versus saying, you know what, I think it could recover. I want you to say it in a word. Who thinks they can guess in a word, one single word? What aspect of this chart has me thinking, yeah, I think it'll be fine? Nobody. Volume. It's a big sell day from a candle standpoint, but we're averaging 6.5 million, and this is 4.5. Maybe it gets another million and gets to 5.5, but there's certainly nothing there where I think to myself, oh, the sellers are taking over. Gene says I would have got it wrong. Quite all right, sir. CLS is cracking higher today. My goodness. Sandy says she was thinking about volume. Capital One, sideways, nothing for us. Coinbase, right back down, nothing for us. Cisco. Ooh, Cisco, I was like, maybe Cisco will give us something. Nope. Nope, you're out. DAL, maybe setting up for something. DoorDash. Dashify. DoorDash, nothing there. Still in this range, this pretty tight range. Diamonds, no. EA. Okay. EXPE, nothing there yet. Ford, I was looking at earlier in the day, but it gave back. That doesn't mean it's off the table. In fact, for me, if we see something like this, can we get a point from it? At least 75, maybe a point. I'd say it's going to put us up at 1250. At least, well, maybe on Monday there's something there. That still looks pretty good for a setup. Futu, no. GE, no. Gold, another move today, pretty good. Google, another move today. I'm no longer benefiting, but I got everything I wanted and then some. Okay, Goldman. Like others in the financial sector. Yeah, John is saying exactly what I was saying. All the financials kind of having this pullback here, so there's not much we can do with that. Hasbro, though, it gave a signal down here, but the candle didn't quite agree, right? Didn't quite agree, so let's be patient on that one. Robin Hood tried, but still kind of holding that 50. Howmet trying, but pulling back a little bit. IBM, we'll see what happens with this one. Intel, still chopping around a little bit. Should see improvement in financials later next week. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if they can pull out of it. There was some good momentum there, but we're not seeing it as much now. IWM, small caps. Small caps are still pushing higher because they like the thought of an interest rate cut. KKR still in its consolidation for me. Never really got out of this thing, but we'll keep an eye on it. It's nice to have a regional. Levi got a new high. Now we're in a flag mode. This thing is viable, and I would say all the way like this. One more day for the flag, then it moves into pullback. Any of that looks good. It's at new highs. I'm interested. There's some strength in consumer discretionary. This one was tough. I got to tell you, I feel like we found a good stock, but the first signal came back here, and it was just so new to our list that we didn't go. And then I tell people all the time, I struggle with these little like one-day consolidations. You definitely could have looked at that right there, but it was one day. So anyways, now it looks a little overextended. LVS on the list. It's got to stabilize, though. It's got to stabilize now and then start to turn, and then I'll be like, okay, now I've got 6 points from here. That puts me up around 60.5. That's the trade. I think there's viability there starting as early as Monday. Meta, no, nothing really there for us. Morgan Stanley, same as the rest of the group. A little bit of a speed bump. Microsoft. So Microsoft, that was on this grind, breaks out, comes back, sucks us in, and then turns around. All right. Now it's in this basing pattern. I'm not looking to trade it bearishly now, but I'll tell you this. If it does something like this, and then it pulls up to the underside of this moving average and then turns, yeah, then at that point, I think it could accelerate on down into this area. I'll trade it the other way. That's fine. Micron got a big old bust. Netflix, no. NOC, same thing here. If it gives me a turn, I would consider it. It's kind of an off-cycle trade. NVIDIA, I was thinking about NVIDIA if it could stabilize, but it's not looking great. Piggy, PGY, Pagaya. No. PLTR, no. QQQ holding up kind of sideways. Roblox. So Roblox for me broke its consolidation and is pulling back. I actually would trade Roblox on a bounce that forms somewhere over here above the 50. Just not now. Just not yet. Reddit. I think I can. It's trying to make a comeback. I'm going to carry it through the weekend and give it its opportunity to at least try to get back up here. Take a little piece off the table and then see if I get a little bit more still. So Reddit, Apple, Google all fought back. Still in, Craig, with me? They all fought back. They're trying to do their thing. And we're going to try to let them. RF, no. Rocket Labs. Stop protecting the profit. Love it. That's sound strategy there, my friend. Rocket Lab. Okay. I feel like there's actually something developing here. There's a consolidation. We busted up. We pulled back. Let's try. Did a put spread on Rocket Lab. Is that a wait, on Roblox or Rocket Lab? I feel like that symbol is halfway between the two. RBLX or RKLB? RKLB. No, you're good. I just want to make sure I'm talking about the right stock, my friend. That's a bull put spread or a bear put spread? Credit or debit on that put spread? And then give me your strikes. Give me the strikes. I want to know. And I want to know now. I feel it. It came off a little aggressive. I didn't mean for it to. Credit 145 by 45 by 50. I'm assuming you meant 45 by 50. Oh, making the move for you right at the end of the day. Lovely. Lovely stuff. Lovely stuff. So 45 by 50 credit spread, and it's moving above it now today, last day. Well held. That probably had you sweating these last couple of days. Oh, bad. He's like, it's something. There's some strikes that are there. Yeah, 40.35 is I mean, still good, but they weren't really ever jeopardized, were they? So the 45.40 would have been more impressive to me for holding through the last 2 days. But I see what you did there. Nice trade. Good stuff. Silver. Holding up, but overextended. Nothing new there. SoFi. I thought SoFi looked like it was trying. And even now, SoFi is probably holding up better than any other financials. So I'm thinking about that going into next week. Just saying. I'm just saying. I don't think I have a Heiken-Ashi yet, but I might look at that and think to myself, if I get the Heiken-Ashi, what does that allow me to do? Well, that allows me to, let's say it does something like this, and I'm getting in at 26 and change. Well, I could put my stop here, not down here or here, but closer. Okay, the SPY kind of getting us into a sticky situation here. We have 7 minutes, and we have gone from a 0.3 down to a 0.44 down. We're not dogmatic, but I'm concerned that if we have a sell at the end of the day and it looks like this, that's going to be an above average volume day, clearly. What the hell? What the hell? We're already at above average volume for the day. That could take our score to back to a neutral. That would take this back to a 0. I'm going to have to put... this could drop. I'm actually going to put this like... This is a little bit harder to read. I'm going to say we could be anywhere from a 4.75 to a 5.5. I don't think we would see an increase this week. I really don't feel like maybe that's a little bit... Maybe that's where I'm overemphasizing. Let's go 4.75 to 5.25. I think we could drop a half a point. I think we could stay the same. It would be really, really crazy to think that after this week we rise up a quarter of a point. I don't know. I'm going to leave it. I'm going to give it that full amount. That's okay. Sometimes I'm not as accurate. Sometimes that's just the case. TME, I was thinking about something new for this thing, but the answer still is no. I'm not convinced it's done yet, but definitely not convinced there was a trade there. Tesla is bouncing up off of the fact that they're going to pay their CEO an inordinate amount of money. TSM, actually TSM, look at that. Kind of popping itself to the top of the chip story. There wasn't a trade in here for me, but this is a break on volume that I think if this thing stabilizes and then turns back a little bit, then there's a trade waiting for us out there. So, okay, New leader. Uber pulled back a little bit, but trying to hold up. Let time to expire and see what you can do with this. UUP. Flat. Visa. Selling off like a lot of them. The VIX. So the VIX is slightly worse, but it's not bad. Slightly worse, but not bad. However, if we get a higher low next week, the trade alert will be a hedge trade. 100%. If this confirms a higher low next week, I will put out a put trade on it as per hedge rules. Walmart, a little overextended. Same thing for me on Walmart. Busted out of the consolidation, new high. Give me a pullback and I am in. This is definitely one I think mid to late next week could turn into something. So let's keep our eye on that one. Okay. I mean, it could be better. Could be worse. SOUN. Soundhound. Had a big drop, but stabilized on the 50, bouncing, looking pretty good today. Look, it's got volume and it's closing at or near the high. I think there's enough there. Now it's a Friday, so if you took a piece off, that makes sense. But I would definitely be thinking about holding something into next week. 100%. 100%. Here's something to be careful of. If I cut this candle in half and this candle in half, it gives me a range of like significant levels. I could definitely see this thing stall out inside of there. So yeah, be careful how much room you give it. I would want it to get above 15 pretty quickly to want to continue holding it into the week. Any other questions for specific trades? Let me know. Let's take one last look at Archer. SPY puts gave a 400% gift. Okay. Fair enough. There's Archer Daniels. Trading plan. Get a good Section 1 foundation in place. Know thyself. Right? This is Art of War stuff. If you know yourself but you don't know the enemy, you may win half your battles. If you know the enemy but you don't know yourself, you may win half the battles. What do we want? Know ourselves, know the enemy. Who's the enemy? Everybody else. So we like to understand our strengths and weaknesses and commitment and vision and mission, and we like to understand the market at any given time. At any given time. So if you haven't yet, give me 30 minutes at least. Put some time in. 3 bullets or numbers for strengths. 3 strengths, 3 weaknesses, 1 paragraph each for commitment and discipline, for mission statement, for vision statement. If you can give me that, it'll be fantastic. Okay, look at us. 1 minute before time. Anything else before we wrap it up? We're only 20 seconds. We'll close it together. Any big plans for the weekend? I'm trying to convince my wife I'm fine to mow the lawn, and she's telling me I'm not. I think I'm all right. Not a lot of impact there. We'll see what happens. Red dotted line. Oh, let's go see. On the Soundhound. Oh, shit. Just had a little coffee slosh. Wasn't much. Luckily. Barely any. I hate when that happens. Bye, Sandy. Good to see you as always. Okay, let's see. SOUN enter. So this is about where you are. That's your target. Okay. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Pretty good. All right, you guys. I will see you on Sunday, 11 a.m. Eastern. Have a great rest of your day. Have an amazing Saturday. I'll see you Sunday morning. As always, happy trading.